Well, have they gotten to you yet? The folks with the Denver Water, are they outside fixing up your house and the water lines? The EPA is giving us a closer look at just how many water pipes in Colorado are considered lead service lines. Lead's been known to contaminate drinking water. Our Luis De Leon takes a closer look at what communities in our state are most impacted and the efforts to try to change that.
For the last 3 years, Denver Water has had crews digging these huge holes to replace lead water pipes.
We're also performing a street cut, digging up the asphalt or concrete in the street.
Alexis Woodrow is Denver Water's lead reduction program manager. She says back in 2020, they estimated that there was somewhere between 64 and 84,000 lead service lines in the Denver region. Since then, they've been working to replace those lines by 2035.
You're doing construction work in the street, you're putting in a connection to the home, but you also have to find them.
And that's just for Denver. Statewide, the EPA gave an update on their estimates for how many lead service lines there are in the state. Their annual survey found that there are 111,000 lead service lines in Colorado.
We also want to look at where replacement of that service line has the greatest impact.
And to figure that out on a wider scale, there are teams of researchers right now looking at which areas and groups of people are most impacted by lead water pipes.
No amount of lead in your blood is safe, right?
Like Dr. Julia Roncoroni, who leads a health disparities research team at DU as part of the Color of Water in Colorado project, starting with a review of public data.
When we looked at that, we also found that several areas of Colorado are more impacted by lead in the water. And those are areas that are primarily inhabited by communities of color and low-income communities.
She uses Commerce City as an example, citing the way the city grew in the mid-90s.
You had buildings of large residential housing complexes and related infrastructure, but the Latinx and lower SCS community members stayed in the older, higher density housing stocks in areas that are highly industrialized, right, and where the water is really polluted.
While the research is still being completed, she hopes the data drives intervention.
Before we can think of intervention in that way, we have to start thinking of capturing the issue more broadly.
So here in Denver, Woodrow with Denver Water, you heard from there, tells me that they've replaced over 15,000 lead service lines in the last 3 years. That's actually ahead of schedule at this time. Steve, I also caught up with the state health department on this today. They said they're likely going to see water lead pipes in a lot of the parts of our state that are much older, since, of course, 1986 was when Congress did away with using piping that had lead in them in the first place.
We focus so much on testing now. Replacement is completely different.
Right, and so there's actually going to be a law going into effect here by the end of May. All schools and public schools and daycare centers have to have their water tested for lead. It's interesting to see the two-pronged approach here with infrastructure, and then we see the testing as well.
All right, Luis De Leon reporting. Thank you.